Charlotte's killer is finally revealed on Pretty Little Liars, but was it a cop-out or was it satisfying? Let's discuss on what happened. What's up, all you little liars? Lisa here, and tonight it's all about the last episode of Pretty Little Liars until the series finale. So in tonight's episode, we were promised the answer of who killed Charlotte, but was it really worth all that wait? That is the big question. So instead of making you wait until the end of the recap to discuss everything and to reveal who the killer is, because you know it always happens at the end of the actual TV episode, let's just do it now. If you don't want spoilers, I warned you, click away. Although hopefully you've watched the episode if you're actually watching this recap. Charlotte's killer is actually revealed to be, dun 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 dun, Mona. Yeah, shocking? Not shocking? Kind of shocking for me, but I don't know. Also, she didn't actually really flat out kill her. It was actually an accident. So now let's dive into the recap to see how we get to Mona being revealed as the killer. First, we have Ezra being pissed off throughout the episode for all the girls shutting Arya out, and I kind of feel like he's not really acting himself maybe. But then again, everybody is acting weird and suspicious in my eyes, and to me, everybody's a suspect still. We last left Arya with the body of Dunhill in her trunk. She manages to get out of that situation with the police by, grabbing her keys out of the trunk just in time because the policeman gets distracted by his radio after he pops the trunk open, never sees the body. Now, Arya thinks that she can make things right still, so she goes off to the police station to confess to killing Archer now that she has the body in her trunk in hopes of basically making things better for everyone. Except herself, I guess. Caleb and Ezra have told the rest of the girls that Mona has the game and has to be AD, and Caleb and Hanna decide to go confront Mona about everything. Meanwhile, Spencer's received another message in a bottle from Mary. So what is the message that Spencer got from Mary? Well, Mary is planning to leave town, and Spencer shows up to the Lost Woods to meet with her. Turns out Mary has left Spencer and Allie the Lost Woods because she thinks that maybe they might have to mortgage it off to help pay for lawyer bills. And she feels like this is what she can give the girls because obviously the police are hot on their trail. Mona isn't actually AD as we find out that the game is being stolen from her, and she ends up receiving a note from AD to go meet at the Two Crows for some pie. Caleb and Hanna actually follow Mona, and eventually Spencer shows up to help them out too. Hanna still doesn't believe that Mona could be AD because she can see how scared Mona is, especially through the window of the restaurant. But Caleb goes rogue and ends up going inside and confronting Mona, who all of a sudden starts showing some really kind of nervous tics, confirming that she's basically scared of something. Now Mona tells Caleb that someone keeps stealing the game from her, she can't be AD, and then she ends up receiving her check, her bill, and when Hanna and Spencer enter to get Caleb, Mona runs out the back and escapes to the bathroom, where there just happens to be some kind of hidden door, and they see that the check said, "Leave now." Ezra stops Arya before she can go into the police station and confess, and she tells him about the body in the trunk, but later on, that body actually ends up going missing. Meanwhile, Detective Tanner is hot on the girls' trail, is set out on getting them, and she ends up getting arrest warrants for all of them. Ezra and Arya decide that they should get everyone out of Tanner's jurisdiction, but the police have set up ID checks, so there's really no escaping Rosewood at this point in time. Alright, what else is happening in this episode? Spencer and Caleb are trying to make their way through the dark tunnels following Mona out of the Two Crows, and Caleb ends up telling Spencer that he and Hanna are married. The girls end up apologizing to Arya for shutting her out. Hanna ends up outside the church where she sees flower petals falling, and then she goes inside the church, and who does she see there? Mona. But Mona looks a little different than the last time we saw her. In fact, she's dressed up as nerdy Mona with pigtails, her glasses, but why? Well, it seems like something has triggered Mona, and she is now back in her old high school nerdy Mona personality, apparently where she felt safe before all the real trouble began, when her only real troubles were Allie picking on her in high school. Mona ends up thinking that Hanna is Charlotte there to meet her, and then we get the flashback to the night that Charlotte was killed. Charlotte has basically fooled everyone into thinking she's changed. Everyone except for Mona, who has been keeping a close watch on her for 5 years and has seen Charlotte manipulate all the doctors, all her family, everyone in order to get released. Now it seems like Charlotte isn't stopping her mind games with everyone anytime soon, and that's why Mona is there. Now we can see that there's some kind of hold that Charlotte has on Mona. She's very manipulative. She keeps cutting Mona down, even telling Mona that the girls will never accept her as a friend. Why does she keep trying to protect them? Everything. Well, Mona's kind of had it up to here, ends up grabbing a screwdriver, holding it to Charlotte's back, and holding her out, basically to the edge of the window. And she tells Charlotte to jump or she's going to push her out. And that's when we go back to the present day where Mona thinks that Hanna is Charlotte. And Mona almost pushes Hanna out the window, but Caleb and the rest show up just in time to stop everything. Now, as they leave the church with Mona, they see 2 puzzle pieces hanging from the car. Now, everyone is back at the Lost Woods where they have recovered the game, which has shown up at Emily and Allison's earlier. They've placed the puzzle pieces on the board, which fills in the entire puzzle. The game lights up and gives them their grand prize, Dunhill's body, which, like I said, ended up missing from Arya's trunk. And it shows the location of where that body is, and Carol's farm, where it just so happens to be buried in Charles's grave. So the girls go to the farm and they are planning to dig up the body, but in the end they actually, as a group, decide not to, and that they just need to walk away, let everything end, and kind of let the chips fall where they may. And that's when Detective Tanner happens to just show up with a bulldozer. At the police station, all the girls are expecting to be arrested when Tanner tells them that the body at the farm is in fact Dunhill's, but she says she'll be back. She has something to go do real quick. Now, where does she go? Well, she goes into the room next to where the girls are, turns on the light in the room so the one-way mirror comes up, and sitting there is Mary Drake, who goes on to confess to Tanner that she has killed Archer because he was threatening her family, and that she also ended up killing her sister Jessica. And so Tanner has Mary Drake's statement. Mary Drake is not budging from it, so Tanner tells her to sign the statement as the girls are all watching on and listening. When Tanner returns to the room with all the girls, she tells them that they're free to go. And you know what the girls do? Instead of leaving, they question Tanner. Yeah, I would have just bolted right out of there. Anyway, doesn't seem like Tanner is necessarily fully sold on Mary Drake's confession, as she says that she knows that Mary Drake is definitely guilty of at least one murder, which would be Jessica's, but the rest, well, it just happens to nicely fold up into a bow to make kind of the district attorney happy, because otherwise, if she doesn't turn in Mary Drake's statement and confession, all she's got is those crazy theories that we all have about how the girls are tied to everything and who killed Archer and all the chaos that's been going on for 7 damn seasons. Outside the interrogation room, as Mary is being taken away, she turns to Spencer and the girls and basically tells them to be quiet with this. Back at the Lost Woods, the girls tell Mona that Dr. Sullivan will be on her way to kind of check out Mona, see what's really going on with her, because, you know, Mona is still in her other mental state, and that's when Mona confesses more about how she actually ended up messing everything up, like how she always does. She never gets things right, that kind of a thing. She actually didn't end up making Charlotte jump out of the window, or she didn't push her out of the window. What really happened is Mona was just really kind of trying to scare Charlotte, give her a taste of death. So she ended up pulling her out of the window and just throwing her to the ground. And Charlotte's just cutting Mona down even more, being like, hey, I knew you didn't have the guts to kill me. And then the two just get into a fight, and Mona ends up throwing Charlotte into the wall of the steeple of the bell tower, and yeah, she sees Charlotte fall to the ground, and what actually happened is that Charlotte ended up running into a metal pole pipe thing that's hanging off the wall, which looks like it went into the back of her neck. So, all in all, it was actually an accident, and it seems like this accident is what actually triggered Mona to develop her nervous tics again and go back to the safe place of who she was a long time ago. The episode ends with the game going dead because the girls think that they've won it, obviously, because everything has to be over now, right? 80 doesn't have any more leverage on them since Mary Drake confessed to everything and Mona has told them about Charlotte. We then hear the song, the iconic song, Without You by Harry Nilsson, playing as we get close-ups of the game, you know, just kind of to reminisce about how great that game was. And then we see the figures of all the girls from the game in a plastic bag sitting in AD's car as AD drives off into the sunset. Yet we all know AD really isn't done yet, right? There's still a 2-hour finale to come, so maybe AD's just going to take a vacation before the real torture starts. Alright, so that was that big reveal we've been waiting for a while. Mona killed Charlotte by accident. And we know that Charlotte was lying to everybody and wasn't really a reformed person. And she was kind of still planning on taking everybody down and maybe even trying to get rid of Rosewood in general. Now all of this leads up to this really big reveal of AD, which we've been promised, which is coming next week in the big 2-hour series finale, which will apparently also be followed by a 1-hour special with the cast. So let's look at the promo for that.
Game over.
There's only one rule. You don't look back.
No more secrets.
What is going on?
I can't marry Ezra.
AD is revealed. The 2-hour series finale.
I never would have guessed it was you.
Plus the A-list rap party. The 3-hour Pretty Little Liars finale event.
Alright, so that was a ton of stuff jammed into that short little time period. We get some footage from old episodes of seeing all of the characters that have worn the black hoodie. And then it seems like we get new footage, which is kind of crazy, this new footage that we're getting. It seems like the girls think everything is over and are kind of getting on with their lives. We see Arya say she can't marry Ezra, but why? Toby's finally shaved off that awful beard and he and Spencer get it on again. A ton of characters are back, including Jenna, Melissa, Addison, Mary, who seems to hurt Spencer, Ren with a gun who fires it, and AD reveals himself to Mona, who's heard saying, "I never would have guessed it was you." So who is it? I mean, we have all these characters returning, but here's the thing. Are they returning in present time? Are we getting them in flashbacks? There's still so many questions. So now I want you to sound off in the comments below or on my socials. Let me know what you thought about tonight's episode, what you thought about the reveal of Charlotte's killer, yay, nay. What do you think is going to happen in the big finale? And who's going to end up being AD? Have you actually picked up on all the clues? I actually talked to Marlene King recently, which you can see, the interview will be in the end card, where she said that we will see all the clues that have been given leading up to the reveal of AD. So we can go back and see, oh yeah, we should have picked up on this, we should have picked up on this. And I'm guessing that's going to actually be done in the 1-hour special that follows the big 2-hour finale. So we have to carve out 3 hours of time next Tuesday. It's kind of getting exhausting, but it's almost over, so why not go out with a bang, right? Now I want to know, have you picked up on any clues throughout? Are you still sticking with those series you've had for a while? I know people are really thinking that there's some kind of twins out there, whether it's Arya's twin or Spencer's twin. Anyway, like I said, leave me your thoughts, then you can click over here to check out a sneak peek of the PLL exhibit that's running through August at the WB Studio Tour in Los Angeles that also has that Marlene King interview in it. Then come back next week where I'll be sitting here talking about the finale and if it was satisfying or not. I'll probably still be sitting here confused about the AD reveal. Anyway, I'm Lisa. See you next time.